Greetings and welcome to this cold, misty December morning in Goring right now. Do you want to join me? I'm just about to drive from Goring in Worthing to back to Brighton. I've just done a delivery. It might be a long video, this one, but I just thought, you know, come join me while I chat rubbish for the journey. I'll probably timestamp the video, so if there's any subject that I'm talking about that is rubbish and boring, you can skip on to the next one. But yeah, I guess the big news this week was the by-election, wasn't it? The Liberal Democrats winning the by-election off of the incredibly safe Conservative seat. I mean, there's been Conservative since that seat came into existence in the 70s. But by-elections are always funny, aren't they? They're always funny, and the Liberal Democrats seem to always do well on by-elections because they're the perfect protest vote for a disgruntled Conservative voter, aren't they? I mean, they've won like 2 in a row, haven't they? Liberal Democrats off Conservatives. I swear, if the election result was put on by-election results, the Liberal Democrats would be in power. They always do well. But yes, I mean, it's the perfect protest vote for the disgruntled Conservative voter. Will the disgruntled Conservative voter vote for him in a general election where it actually really makes a difference? I'm not sure. I'm not sure they will. But I don't know. It's interesting, the Conservative vote in general, because you think Labour's divided, and obviously it is, between the left and the centre of the party. But Conservative is as well, but they still seem to come together for the greater good, don't they, for their cause. But I think, well, I mean, they're obviously frustrated now with Boris Johnson, aren't they? I think I just can't see him being kicked out, even with this by-election result. Everyone was saying, oh, you know, if the by-election doesn't go his way, then you know, it'll be terrible. But I don't think they're going to kick him out, and they need him to take the fall too much. This is Goring by Sea, by the way. This is actually where I grew up, around here. Yeah, I grew up in Worthing, specifically Goring by Sea. Moved to Brighton at a later date, but yeah, this is where I grew up around there. But yeah, they're not going to kick him out. There's so much more scandal and sleaze and terrible Brexit issues to come. They're not going to kick him out. They need him. I mean, surely the best tactic right now for the Conservatives is a general election is due 2019, 24. They've got to hang it out till then, haven't they? Surely, and keep Boris Johnson in for as long as possible to take all the shit, and then 23, put someone fresh in, freshen up the party, and just let Boris Johnson take the hit for everything. I mean, that has to be the Conservative tactic right now. It has to be. But then I guess it comes down to the Conservative MPs, right? Don't they have some sort of vote of no confidence or something? And if you get a certain amount, then you have to have I'm not sure. I'm sure you guys will fill me in on that, but I'm sure that's the case. You know, if you do get enough disgruntled Conservative MPs, I don't know what the magic number is, but then they do a vote of no confidence and he has to go. But is this a resurgence for the Liberal Democrats? Like I say, they always do well on a by-election. They love a by-election. But could they really start to steal some of these Conservative voters that feel they don't have a home with the party anymore? I don't know. The Lib Dems have been strange anyway, haven't they? Ever since they got that little taste of power in 2010, they kind of lost their voter base completely. And it's a shame, really, because I guess, like, the Lib Dems, in a way, they kind of feel like a little home for me politically. I think I align with quite a lot of their policies. I mean, obviously Europe, they probably are the most pro-European party out there, along with the Greens. You can disagree with their tactics at the moment, but it's still there at their core. I don't know. It's hard with Brexit because so many people are saying, why are the Lib Dems not shouting from the rooftops about how disastrous Brexit is and keep pushing to get us to rejoin? But as I've said in previous videos, I just don't think that's the right tactic. There's a lot of disgruntled Brexit voters out there. There's a lot of Brexit voters that regret what they do, but they're ashamed and they don't want to be. That's my old flat up there actually. What was I, about 12 years old when I lived up on that flat there? Anyway, you don't need to know that. They can't be pushed too hard and too soon. Yeah, it's a hard thing to admit you're wrong. It's a very difficult thing. We all know that. And yeah, people regret voting Brexit, but as soon as a party starts going, we're rejoining, it's going to put people off. It really is going to put these people off. Slow and subtle, little step-by-step things. You're going to say, right, we're going to start making Brexit better. We're going to start sorting out the problems of Brexit. We're going to start looking at trade. Maybe it's in our best, once you've done a few steps, you can push out there, maybe it's in our best interest now to start looking at rejoining the single market because the benefits from trade. Look at Norway, look at Switzerland, all these sorts of things, just little step by step. I just don't think if you're going to come out all guns blazing going, no, have to rejoin. As soon as Brexit voters start hearing rejoin, they're not happy about it. So in my eyes, I think the Lib Dems and the Greens are doing a good tactic here. They're not saying they're for Brexit. They're not saying that we're going to keep Brexit, but they're not shouting from the rooftops. They're just doing it subtle. The people that want to stay in the EU and didn't vote for Brexit, we know what the Lib Dems are about. But can they steal that pro-European Conservative vote? Because it does exist. It does exist. A good friend of mine is a pro-European Conservative. I don't know what he voted in the last election. Actually, I think he probably voted Lib Dem. I don't think he wanted to do either. But he was a pro-European Conservative, and they do exist. And the natural home for them is the Lib Dems, really. So come on, they really need to push, because like I say, their politics probably align with mine more than any other party. When it comes to Europe, when it comes to drug reform. Now Nick Clegg, there's plenty of reasons why people despise that man, and I get it. I do get it. But he done a very good talk about drug reform and drug decriminalisation. If I remember, I'll try and put the link below. Usually when I say I'll put the link below, I never put the link below, but I'll try this time. But yeah, he done a really good conversation about drug reform, and the party as a whole, they're the Liberal Democrats. Supposed to be liberal on all topics. Liberal on gay marriage, they were the ones that pushed that along with the Conservatives. Their politics align with mine. Business, they're pro-business, they're pro-small business, all these things. They should be my natural home, really. I'm fairly certain, I'd have to check, but I'm fairly certain they're for, public ownership of railways and stuff like that. I guess some would say they're even more left than the current Labour Party, really, if you look at their policies, but then who knows what Labour's actual policies are. It's nice, isn't it? Worthing seafront along here. I do like a December morning, actually. I do enjoy a nice cold December morning. A lot of people get depressed in the winter, but I like a nice cold December morning. A little bit of mist. It's nice. It's cold. Get the car, put the heating on, get home, get nice and snug and warm. I like that. It's nice. It's nice. But yeah, the by-election, Lib Dems. Could they really? what would they push if they were going to try and push and actually really be a force and maybe get into a position of a coalition with Labour or something? That would be. I mean, they can't go in a coalition with Conservatives anymore. I'm sure they've learned their lesson from that last time. But yeah, a pro-European Lib Dem party with Labour. I could see that happening. I could see that being good as well. But this is where the problem lies, isn't it? I mean, I've just said it myself. The Lib Dems politics probably align most with me more than any other party. Am I going to vote for them? No, because my constituency in East Brighton has swung from Labour to Conservative. I mean, Labour did win it by quite a lot last time. I think it was about 8,000 votes or something like that. I might be wrong, but it swings. It swings. It was Conservative before, so anything can change that. So my Labour vote in my constituency is quite important. Would I risk it on a Lib Dem vote? No, I wouldn't do it. That's what happens across the country, isn't it? You still can't get over it. And that's actually another big policy. Lib Dems are pro PR, aren't they? Getting rid of this archaic bloody first past the post system. I mean, every small party has to be. I mean, you'd have to be insane to be a small political party and not want proportional representation, wouldn't you? That'd just be crazy. So here we are, Worthing town centre here. Many a time I've been on that nightclub on the pier there. Got the Dome Cinema. This cinema is ancient, old. Definitely went on my first proper date there. Late 90s. I went to see Men in Black on my first ever date in that cinema in Worthing. Men in Black. Men in Black. Here's a question for you. Can anyone think of another film where the lead actor has done a song for the film? Here come the Men in Black, Galaxy Defenders. When has that ever happened any other time? The actor doing a song for the film. It's kind of well, I'm sure there's more out there, but it just seems like one of those things that used to happen that never happens anymore. Like footballers doing football songs. When did that officially die out? When was the last football song from a football team? It gets to the FA Cup final and they're like, let's release a song. Chelsea gonna win the cup on Saturday, or some nonsense like that. Absolutely terrible. Oh dear. Other topics. A couple of you guys have been asking me how my electric van's going. I'm still loving it. Absolutely love it. The electricity is not as cheap as I thought it would be. For a couple of reasons. I mean, we know energy prices are soaring at the moment, and when I first registered to get the van, like 4 months before, like 5 months ago, you know, I had all intention of getting the cheap Octopus energy tariff, which does the super cheap 5 pence kilowatt overnight charging, which would mean, you know, it cost me about £1 a day to charge the thing. But unfortunately that's not the case. I've got my normal tariff that I was on with EDF, which is like 20 pence a kilowatt, and I've, you know, I looked into Octopus, so you're still doing the cheap overnight rate, and obviously that everyone's just telling you not to change electricity suppliers because you're not going to get it cheaper. It's just going up and up and up and up and up. So I've got a stick. I've just got this flat rate of 20 pence. No, don't get me wrong, it's obviously insanely more cheaper than diesel, but it's not quite as cheap as I thought it was going to be. Hopefully when electricity prices come down we can sort that out. But yeah, I'm still loving the van. I've been on a few forums online about the van, and a lot of people are moaning about this van. They're saying that they're not getting the 82 miles of range, they're only getting 50 miles of range, but I'm getting it, and I'm guessing that, I don't know, they must be just driving it fast and just not being sensible with driving it. I'm still being ultra sensible driving this thing. I'm driving it slow, you know, utilising the brakes to charge it and all that sort of thing, and I'm getting the range that I need. But you know, like I said with this van, it's you really have to be a certain type of business or van driver to be able to have this van. It's really not going to suit most van drivers. I mean, even if I'm only getting 50 miles range out of it, I can still do the majority of my jobs. I very rarely go over 50 miles, you know. So yeah, just do your bloody research. That's what I think it's down to. Most of these guys that have bought this van are moaning about it, just didn't do their research on it at all. And even, you know, every electric vehicle, the claimed range that it does is, you're never really going to reach that anyway. There's so many different factors involved. The weight that you're carrying, the uphill driving that you're doing, the wind, the weather, the cold affects the batteries, makes them last a shorter time. There's so many different factors, and you really have to factor these in when you buy a van. But yeah, I'm still really enjoying the van. I'm loving the drive of it. It's beautiful. I love not visiting a petrol station, and you know, I just love the fact that I'm not, you know, every time I go behind a car and I just see all that bloody emissions coming out the back of it, it just looks so dirty to me now. Just looking at it, I'm like, oh god, just pumping all that shit out into my city every single day, you know. I just love the fact that I'm not doing that. But yeah, really enjoying the van. But it's just those electric prices, you know, that would be making me smile a little bit more if those electric prices should come down. And that got me thinking actually about Farage. Straight onto Farage. I keep seeing a few interviews with Farage where he's just damning wind turbines in the UK. You know, every time that he gets onto the environment, he just keeps damning wind turbines. He's like, they're no good, they're rubbish, they only work when it's windy. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a wind turbine, of course. But he keeps damning them. He's like, they're useless. In 10 years' time, they'll be rusting in the sea. I'm like, what? There's got to be alternative motors. When it comes to Farage, there has to be. And I don't know whether it's public knowledge. I might try and have a look and see. But he must have shares in nuclear energy or something, because that's what he's pushing now, isn't it? Nuclear energy. He was pushing it big time when he was doing his interview with Trump. Got to go on to nuclear. These wind turbines are rubbish. They look ugly. That's another thing. Like, I ain't got a problem with these things. Does everyone really like hate looking at a wind turbine? You know, when you drive along and you see one, you're like, oh, it's horrible, it's disgusting. Well, really? Just turn 45 degrees to the left and you're not looking at it anymore. We got some here in Brighton on the coast. They're far away in the distance, can't really see them. There's some just down the road in Eastbourne that are inland in some fields, but they're just like a windmill, isn't it? Everyone loves a windmill. You're driving through a nice country cottage or something, you see a windmill. Oh, isn't it lovely? Windmill. Go to Netherlands. Oh, the windmills are lovely. It's just a big windmill. But yeah, anyone's moaning about it sticking out like a sore thumb, doesn't bother me at all. Get more of them. Get as many as you can, because if we're ever going to get decent energy prices in this country, we need to stop relying on gas from abroad. Just get wind turbines everywhere. Yeah, I know they don't work all the time, but that's why you need to utilise it when it is windy. Get all the energy you can, utilise it. Because I'm sick of paying tons for my energy. I hate to think how much. I mean, obviously I'm going to be paying a lot now because I'm charging an electric car, but what was, I'm guessing even without the electric van, what was about £80 a month that I was spending on energy is, by next year, it's got to go up. When I have to renew my energy tariff again, it's got to go up. It's got to be going up to about £200 a month now. Council tax going up, £200 a month. Interest rates, inflation, it's going up again now, isn't it? Lucky enough I haven't got to renew my mortgage till 25. I renewed it just before. I was a bit annoyed because just after COVID they put the interest rates down to 0. I was like, if we could have just renewed our mortgage a little bit later, we would have got 0, but we still got good. I'm just happy that I've got that lower rate for the next 5 years. But I feel for anyone that's renewing their mortgage in the next year or so. It's going to be another expense, but it's all going up, isn't it? All going up. And next year we're going to get more Brexit benefits. Your business, you know, proper checks of goods coming in. We'll get there when we get there, but I don't want to go too much into that. But yeah, next year is going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough. I've got some cyclists there. Shouldn't have turned too. Oh, hey, it's all a bit doom and gloom, isn't it? It's all a bit doom and gloom. That's why, you know what, we need to utilise Christmas this year with friends and family and make sure that we're all healthy, good, and spend time with our family this Christmas. That's what I'm looking forward to over last Christmas, because last Christmas was a bit lame. And you know what, I've been enjoying myself. Anyone worried about Omicron? Anyone worried about COVID in general? I guess the only real fear really from most people about COVID is getting it and having to self-isolate and not be able to spend Christmas with family. I guess that's the biggest fear really, isn't it? And you know, when it comes to COVID at the moment, I went out at the weekend. You know, the British Christmas, I don't know how you guys in other countries spend your Christmas and your run up to Christmas, but I love Christmas. And Christmas is about going out, having a few drinks with friends, which is what I'd done last weekend. Friends of mine band was playing. Good fun, playing lots of Christmas songs, put a Christmas Santa hat on, maybe a bit of tinsel, have a few drinks, have a sing-along, and feel good about life, because it's Christmas time and it's good fun. And a lot of people say that we shouldn't be doing that at the moment. I mean, I was in a very, very, very crowded pub, a very crowded small pub with a lot of people in close proximity. But it's Christmas, you know, and I've done my job, like I've said on many videos. Vaccinated, you know, even if you've had COVID and you're double vaccinated, you know, you've done your job. You've done your job. And my opinion will still not change. The only problems in society are those that are not getting vaccinated. Now, I'm not ignorant. I know we're having people in the hospitals, and I know the hospitals are being overwhelmed at the moment. And there's people in there that are vaccinated, that have got underlying health conditions and a bit older. But don't stand there with a straight face and try and tell me that the hospitals wouldn't be able to manage even if you didn't have the unvaccinated people. They're what's clogging up the hospitals, the people that are not vaccinated. Take away all the patients in hospital that have got COVID bad and are unvaccinated, hospitals would be able to deal with it, and they'd be able to be there for those people that have got vaccinated but are still suffering with the illness. Get vaccinated. I'm not going to stop going down the pub because selfish people won't get vaccinated. No. But like I say, the only fear is that you might not be able to spend Christmas with your loved ones, you know, which is a fear, and I'm obviously going to be testing every couple of days lead up to Christmas, make sure I'm all good and fit and healthy, ready to see my relatives at Christmas. But you got to live life. You have to live life. It's so important. You know, can't be locking down every single Christmas and not being able to see friends and go to Christmas parties because of the unvaccinated. And it is because of the unvaccinated. This is why. This is why people are telling people you shouldn't go out socialising. You shouldn't be going out. Not because it's your fault for being able to enjoy a nice Christmas. It's because people are not getting vaccinated. They're clogging up the hospitals. Anyway. I hope you're all going to have a lovely Christmas. So all the Christmas parties, is this whole nonsense with Downing Street's Christmas party? Am I getting really conspiracy theorist now if we could say that the Tories actually threw this information out intentionally about the Christmas parties to dissuade our attention away from what they're really doing in Parliament with these new laws against protest. These look scary. These look really, really, really scary to me. So perfect timing to put out a load of nonsense about Christmas parties. And even Labour are getting suckered into it because they're talking about the Christmas parties and they're not talking about these new laws. Laws against protest. New laws to arrest people that are blocking roads in protests or causing a nuisance, being a bit loud. So the way that I see it, correct me if I'm wrong, we had this bill passed through, it was like a year ago now, further laws against protest, where basically the Home Secretary can define whether any protests are breaking these laws and arrest people for protesting. Very scary at the time. But from what I'm hearing is they're adding new additions to this law and sneaking them through. Are they being voted on in Parliament? I need to do my research on this. Feel free in the comment section to let me know, but it seems very scary. Are they just sneaking these extra little laws into the bill without voting them through Parliament? Or are they actually voting them through Parliament? But yeah, very scary. Stop and search with no reason. I saw that one. The police officer with no suspicion of you doing any crime can now stop and search you. Yeah, that doesn't seem easy on me. And I got a lot of the same comments in my previous video about Sir Swaney of the New Forest MP Conservative that's all for freedoms but is voting through these policies. So they are voting them through them. They only seem to be for freedoms in certain areas where he's fed up of having to put a mask on when he goes into a shop. But he's quite happy for a policeman to go into people's pockets with no rhyme or reason. Of course, no policeman is going into his pockets because he's a middle-aged white MP. No police is going to be stopping him in the street, but they'll probably be stopping a black teenager with no rhyme or reason. So I don't like this at all. So yeah, you've got that. The real severe laws on protests. I mean, if you read some of these, it kind of feels like that they can stop any kind of protest at the drop of a hat for any reason whatsoever. Yeah, I don't like it. And why Labour not pushing? It seems like they're the ones that are getting suckered into this nonsense of concentrating on the Christmas party. I mean, I'll hold my hands up, I've been there, I was doing videos about Christmas party because it's still important. It's very important. I mean, the biggest thing from me about the Downing Street Christmas party is they now have no credibility to enforce a lockdown. That's the most important thing. Not that they're breaking the rules, because everyone breaks the rules. No one can stand there and with a straight face and say that they at one point did not break lockdown rules. They didn't pop into someone's house for 5 minutes because they needed to, they wanted to do this, or everyone did. Everyone did something. It's not the fact that they're breaking the rules, but their credibility is squashed now. That's what's so important about this Downing Street party, is if they were going to enforce a lockdown, how can they enforce it? When we know that they're not sticking to the rules themselves, the credibility is gone. They can't do that. They can't do that. So it is important, but Labour are getting suckered in to concentrating on that and not talking about these new laws that are coming for stop and search. It's dreadful. Dreadful. Freedoms. Get on that freedom train. Okay? These bloody staunch right-wing Conservatives seem to love this freedom stuff. You get on it as well, Labour. Get on the freedom train. Get on promoting freedom in the right way, about not having our bloody pockets searched with no rhyme or reason from a police officer. I hear even major people in the police are concerned about these rules, and rightly so, because they're the ones that are going to have people kicking off. They want to do their jobs properly anyway. there are good people in the police. So we made it. We're in Brighton. We went from Goring by Sea all the way to Brighton. If you've stuck through the whole video, then thank you very much. It's very kind of you. I've been doing this YouTube channel for a year now. I started it last November, and I thoroughly enjoy it. You know, I love the thing I love the most is not the making of the videos or anything like that. It's just talking to you guys. It's the little community. I'm a little small community of people that enjoy my videos and enjoy what I've got to say. I just want to thank you for watching over the past year. You know, I really appreciate your views and your likes and your comments, and I love chatting with you. I'm probably gonna take a break for Christmas. I think it's just the start of Christmas week now, and I feel like I need a break from politics for just a couple of weeks. I'll be back as strong as ever in the new year, but I just really want to take a break, enjoy some time with my family and friends over Christmas, over New Year, and I just don't want to think about politics for a couple of weeks. Hopefully nothing big will happen in the world of politics, but I just really want like a politics detox for a couple of weeks. I think it's a really important thing to do, and I think most people should do that are into politics, and you know, keep up to date with everything and watch YouTube videos about politics all the time. You know, obviously I wouldn't have this channel if I didn't care about politics and didn't care about the world and wanted to look into issues of what's going on, but you can't have it be your be all and end all. You know, you have to have an escape, otherwise it would drive you crazy, wouldn't it? It really would drive you crazy. So yeah, Christmas time, I think I'm just gonna have a little break, you know, recharge my batteries, just detox on politics for a couple of weeks and just enjoy myself. So I implore you guys to do the same. I think it's a good, healthy thing to do. Just take a break from it all, enjoy your Christmas. I hope you all have a great Christmas, and like I say, thank you so much for all your views, all your likes, all your subscribing and all that business over the past year. It's been great, it's been fantastic, and I really enjoy this channel, and I'll be back again in a couple of weeks time for another video. Look how misty it is out there. I can hardly see the pier. Anyway, till next time guys, Merry Christmas, enjoy yourself, take care.